This is SSPTV News, brought to you by Samsung Productions and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
SSPTV political analyst Charles McElwee is on the show today. That and more next. Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. I'm Ken Carr with your local information. The Luzerne County District Attorney's Office is looking for help from the public in their investigation into possession and dissemination of child pornography. 37-year-old David J. Fortin of 40 Fort was arrested on November 18th. The DA's office says he had over 500 images and videos of minors engaging in prohibited sexual acts. Fortin owns Fortin Academy of Music and teaches in 40 Fort and Tamaqua. Investigators are trying to find out if any of the images or videos were of victims from Luzerne County or were made in Luzerne County. Anyone with information can call Luzerne County detectives at 570-825-1674 or the West Hazleton Police Department at 570-455-3733, extension 106. Today we have some political commentary from the latest election in our news feature. Here's Janine Lassant.
Returning to SSPTV News, we have our political analyst, Charles McElwee. Charles, thanks for joining us here on the program.
Thanks for having me, Janine.
We want to talk about the recent election. I know that you are an editor for Real Clear, and you recently wrote an article for City Journal about this election and the historical development that happened. And I call it the red wave that came through, the Republican rally that came through, and it didn't really matter how much money you spent, as I found. It was more if you were Democrat or you were Republican.
That's exactly right. And there really was a red wave, but lost in all the news, of course, the focus was on Glenn Youngkin's victory in Virginia, then of course Jack Ciattarelli's near win in New Jersey. But it was a Republican sweep in Pennsylvania, too, including the crucial state Supreme Court seat that was vacant, that was picked up by a Republican, which will retain a 5-2 Democratic majority on the court. But amid all this, what we really saw was the twilight of the blue-collar Democrat, which is what I wrote about at City Journal. And the trend was quite apparent here in Luzerne County alone. Now the Republicans have a 10-1 GOP majority on county council, which of course councils what's been in place since 2012 after the commissioners were phased out. But that's a remarkable turnaround. And it was originally, there's going to be one more Democrat for council, but then Robert Schneed, it turns out he had switched parties in June. But of course, we also had the Court of Common Pleas races that went Republican. And then following the election, a local elected official, Jim Montone, Hazel Township supervisor, switched his party affiliations to Republican, saying that that's not the party, the Democratic Party is no longer the party that he remembers. And this is a trend evident throughout the state. Westmoreland County, for example, Western Pennsylvania, longtime Democratic stronghold, entirely Republican now for the first time in history. And here in Luzerne, again, I mean, the Democrats' voter registration advantage is now just 13,000. In other words, it's on pace that in the next few years, we can see Luzerne County having a Republican majority, even among registered voters. And we haven't seen these trends since before Kennedy's presidency. It was really John F. Kennedy's election in 1960 that brought in those legions of principally Catholic voters who were inspired by Kennedy's election and the New Deal era, and that when they were committed to the Democratic Party, and that appears to be over, Janine.
Is this concerning for President Biden as he goes into his second election? As to, is this a trend where we will see this this trend happen again through the presidency as more people are turning Republican, voting Republican, even if they're registered Democrat? We're seeing people come out and support the Republican Party, which I find amazing.
No, it's a phenomenon. I mean, for perspective, this is, lest we forget, Luzerne County went for Obama in 08 and 12, and then Trump. And it's the only county in Pennsylvania that was Obama to Trump and then Trump again. Erie and Northampton County, for example, they were Obama to Trump, but then they did go for Biden in 20. So this is really the microcosm for what's going on. And you're no longer just seeing registered Democrats voting Republican. They're taking the final step. They're changing their party affiliation over disgust over Biden's presidency, and it's just reflective of national trends. The Biden's favorability polling is underwater, even in the suburbs. So this is a major problem for the president going into the midterms. And it remains to be seen what this means for Republican statewide candidates in next year's midterms, because we still face the reality that suburbs are increasingly trending Democrat. But again, even they managed to enjoy GOP pickups this year. So I don't think anything is assured, especially at a time when the number one issue is inflation, in addition to the labor crunch.
Today's news feature is brought to you by the Residence Inn by Marriott and Humboldt Station. Are you traveling with a four-legged friend? Call the Residence Inn at 570-455-9555.
Time now for weather on SSPTV News.
Here's our forecast from the National Weather Service. On Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a high near 38 degrees. On Wednesday night, a 40% chance of rain and snow showers, mostly cloudy with a low around 29 degrees. New snow accumulation of less than a half inch possible. On Thursday, a 20% chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a high near 47 degrees. Wind gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. Thursday night, a 20% chance of showers before 1 a.m., mostly cloudy with a low around 32 degrees. Friday, partly sunny with a high near 39 degrees. Friday night, a 30% chance of snow showers after 1 a.m., mostly cloudy with a low around 27 degrees. Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 38 degrees, and Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 22 degrees. Before we go to break, happy Hanukkah to everyone celebrating. We still have our community and sports features coming up, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
SSPTV News would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Ruth A. Barnes, age 94, of Camp Hill. Services will be private under the Musselman Funeral Home. Evan T. Bell, age 47, of Hazleton. Services will be held in Florida. John Jack Butcher of McAdoo. A service will be held on Friday at 12:30 p.m. at the Calvary Cemetery Chapel. The Joseph B. Conahan Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Michael A. Catrone Jr., age 68, of Hazleton. Services will be private under the Frank J. Bonham Funeral Home. Robert G. Dizek, age 67, of Hazelbrook. Friends McCall on Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Frank J. Bonham Funeral Home. Bernadine Elko, age 92, of McAdoo. Mass will be held on Friday at 10 a.m. at St. Mary's Ukrainian Catholic Church in McAdoo. Friends McCall on Friday from 9 to 9:30 a.m. at the Damiano Funeral Home. Emily B. Mussolini of Hazleton. Services will be held at a later date. Maria S. Reyes, age 72, of Hanover Township. Services will be held in the Dominican Republic under the Frank J. Bonham Funeral Home. Joseph D. Ruff Jr., age 92, Pardisville. Mass will be held on Friday at 10 a.m. at Good Shepherd Church and Drums. Friends may call on Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. at the church. The Joseph A. Moran Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Kurt Allen Schultz, age 67, of Cunningham. The Harmon Funeral Home will announce the arrangements. Lieutenant Colonel James J. Tighe Jr., age 58, of Scranton. Mass will be held on Thursday at 10 a.m. at Most Precious Blood Church. Friends may call on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Joseph A. Moran Funeral Home. And Elizabeth, your canon, age 90, of Jetto. Services will be private on the McEwilchek Funeral Home.
Tonight's obituaries are being brought to you in part by Harmon Funeral Homes and Crematory, with 2 locations in Rockland and in Drums, 570-384-3312 or 570-788-0977, and go to harmonfuneral.com.